talk about President Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're going to talk about Trump, the economy. Hit subscribe to my super chat. Thank you. We're going to hear from Trump's own words, a prediction that unfortunately I've made, several others have made, billionaires have made, and I've been saying this for a long time, for years. The stock market, unfortunately, will crash, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about that in a second. Hit subscribe to my super chat. Thank you so very, very much. Let's listen to Trump in his own words talking about Biden's economy.
Biden, the fastest economic.
Let's go ahead and
recovery a few years ago, I handed Joe Biden the fastest economic recovery in recorded history. But as soon as he came into office, he quickly blew it all up. It was a shame. So sad to watch. I knew what was happening. I could see it, and so could others.
What took place, ladies and gentlemen, was the following. We had a terrible, terrible economic shutdown that was of our own making. Okay, so Paul, hello. Yes. I'm going to fix the echo right now. We had an economic shutdown from people, from governors, blue states, shutting down their own economies. They didn't have to do that. They did not have to do that. Let's continue, though.
Biden and the radical Democrat Congress single-handedly created the highest inflation in decades. They spent trillions of dollars, waged war on American energy, and pursued the socialist joke known as the Green New Deal, an absolute disaster for our country.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we had inflation. We had, let me ask you this, is the echo, interesting, is there an echo here? Let me ask you if there's an echo here. Hold on 1 second.
Years ago, I handed Joe Biden the fastest economic recovery in recorded history. But as soon as he came into office, he quickly blew it all up. It was a shame. So sad to watch. I knew what was happening. I could see it, and so could others. Biden and the radical Democrat Congress single-handedly created the highest inflation in decades.
How does that sound, ladies and gentlemen? Was that okay? SQ, hello. Paul, hello. So he's right. The economic numbers under Trump, before the shutdowns, before Democrats shut down their states, and to my super chat, thank you. Before the Democrats shut down their states, we had record low poverty with Trump, record highs in household median income. Again, record low poverty, record highs in household median income. Poverty is up under Biden. Interest rates are now 7 to 8%. And inflation, they say, is 3%, but it's a lot higher than that. Then they say, well, unemployment numbers are low. Unemployment was already low under Trump. So, let's continue. Paul, hello. SQ, everyone here, hello.
They spent trillions of dollars, waged war on American energy, and pursued the socialist joke known as the Green New Deal, an absolute disaster for our country.
And then, of course, Biden flooded the country with strategic petroleum reserves. So, millions of barrels of strategic petroleum reserves. How on earth is that good for the planet? And yet nobody on the left brings that up. Nobody brings that up. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. I mean, it really is unbelievable. Well, let's continue.
Now the inflation and high interest rates that Joe Biden caused have resulted in the Biden banking crisis, a disaster of historic proportions. We are seeing bank failures left and right. Biden and his enablers in Congress are directly responsible for creating this economic catastrophe. And with Joe Biden at the wheel, it will only get worse. That's what's happening in almost every single sector.
So he's referring to the bank failures years back. Paul Bartlett, SQ. Wow, thank you so much. Paul Bartlett and SQ, my God. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships, SQ. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. My goodness. SQ, Tierhawk, thank you so much. Wow. And Paul Bartlett, I cannot thank you enough. Every single live stream, I cannot thank you. You're keeping the channel afloat. My God, Paul, thank you. And SQ, that is so kind of you. Keith, Rolling, The Freak, Forbidden Paradigm, thank you. Your members, thank you. SQ, thank you so very much. So kind of you. So awesome of you. Greatly, greatly appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. Or greatly appreciate SQ. Let's continue. Thank you again, Paul and SQ. Thank you so much.
America needs a president who knows how to handle the economy. Under my leadership, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. In fact, we really did it twice. Now we will do it a third time, and this time it'll stay. I will unleash American energy to get prices down immediately. I will stop the Biden inflation nightmare, and that will go very quickly. I will reverse the Biden tax hikes and regulation hikes and return to a pro-jobs, pro-growth, pro-worker policy that puts America first.
Thank you again, SQ. So kind of you. And Paul, thank you. When Democrats say, oh, well, Biden presided over good job numbers, nobody has created more jobs. That is nonsense. Biden presided over an economy that literally was shut down. Then he took over, and then Democrats said, okay, a Democrat's in office. Let's open up our economies now. Then people went back to work. Then he took credit for all the people going back to work. Okay, and so then people put a whole bunch of money on credit card debt. Okay, so the economic growth in large part is fueled by the strategic petroleum reserves keeping oil down, and then credit card debt keeping consumer spending up, and then government spending. So, government spending. And we can go on for, look, if you look at Jeremy Grantham, billionaire investor, he thinks there's going to be a stock market crash, a terrible one. A lot of people do. I've been saying there's going to be a stock market crash for years. SQ, so kind of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Paul, thank you so much, Paul. Every single live stream. I appreciate your support in Australia. Paul, thank you. And so, you have Jeremy Grantham and Democrats, they're saying, oh, look at the economic numbers. They don't realize that the economy is on thin ice. They don't care about economic numbers. They just care about personality and public relations. That's why they want to feel good about themselves, even though poverty is up. People are doing worse in terms of the economy now. Worse. That's why Democrats are losing core demographic voters. People, look, they're not doing as well as they did under Trump. And everyone knows Democrats shut down their own economies. But here, let's listen to this.
We don't win. I predicted you'll have a depression the likes of we had in 1929 because these people are crazy. They're spending money like drunken sailors. Nobody's ever seen them. Nobody's ever seen anything like what they're doing. $9 trillion on the Green New scam. And no, it's the craziest thing. They got windmills going up. The whales are all fly. We had one whale in 50 years. Now we got like 9 every 3 months or something, you know. So it's doing something. You know, they said, well, maybe it's not the windmills. It's doing something. You know, that noise goes down there. Those whales are getting crazy. But it's so bad. It's so bad for everything. The wind is a rough one.
So he might be referring to beached whales, and so what'll take place, it'll be like, fact check! There's only, no, the number of beached whales have been the same. And there's, of course, truth to everything he says, so there'll be 1 month where there's more beached whales. Who knows exactly what he's referring to, but the fact check will always be the most petulant fact check possible.
One, because it kills all your birds. It's the most expensive energy you can get. It's intermittent. I used to joke, you remember? I'd say, oh, we want to watch the president on television tonight. He's in a debate. And the husband would say, I'm sorry, Sarah, the wind isn't blowing. I don't believe we'll be able to get any electric tonight. We're not going to be able to watch our president. And people got a kick out of it, but it's true. It's very intermittent. It's very expensive, extremely expensive. And then they have other forms of energy. And then what they want to do is put all electric cars, which don't go far, which are a basic disaster. But if you want to buy one, that's okay. But if you want to, you know, drive down to the local delicatessen, or if you want.
And electric power plants are run primarily by natural gas and other fossil fuels. Oil, natural gas, these are fossil fuels. A small percentage of electricity comes from recyclable wind, solar, green energy. So I don't know, like, and then you have the car batteries. Electric car batteries are not green. Paul, thank you. SQ, thank you. So, you know.
Want to drive back and forth from a store because you want to buy new underpants, okay? That's for the guys. The women are a little bit different. But if you want to drive down to the store to buy clothing, or if you want to do something locally, that's fine. But these cars don't go very far. And, you know, if you say, gee, let's drive to Idaho. Let's get some beautiful potatoes in Idaho. It's not going to work out too well because you'll have to stop about 6 times. And it's just crazy what they're doing. And, you know, the gas stoves, they're going to take away. And all of that stuff will be gone the first day because it's an executive order. The one good thing about an executive order is you can terminate it immediately. And he basically only gets executive orders because that's all he can get. He can't get anything much through Congress.
I'm sorry if there was an echo there. Yeah, basically, the economy is on thin ice, ladies and gentlemen. So, the economy, Angela, hello, the economy is on thin ice. Jigsaw, hello. The economy is on thin ice. We're heading towards a market crash. I mean, there's no way. They'll lose Congress. They'll lose the presidency, Democrats. There's no way. There's just no way. There's no way they rebound from this because it's of their own making. Let's listen to more of Trump.
This campaign will be who can rescue our country from the burning wreckage of Bidenomics, which shall henceforth be defined as inflation, taxation, submission, and failure. Under my leadership, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world.
It was a great economy. We had record low poverty. In the United States of America, since poverty numbers were tabulated, we've had record low poverty with Trump. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I wish that like every single Hollywood actor who's devoted his or her life against Trump would explain why that's a bad thing. Why is that a bad thing? We had record low poverty. What is the point of being a Democrat if you don't care about that? That's what Democrats pride themselves on, okay? They pride themselves on um, being moral and good and just and caring about poor people. Well, that's you had record low poverty with Trump. Okay, and then we had record highs in household median income. People were making more money than ever. Inflation was low. We didn't have one out of every $5 created by the Fed or fiscal stimulus. I mean, you can't just ignore this. There's no way to ignore all of this. The debt is unbelievable.
In fact, we did it twice, and when I get back in the Oval Office, we will do it again, and it'll be bigger and better and stronger than ever before. On day one, the Biden economic bust will be replaced with the historic Trump economic boom. Any numbers you see that are economically positive in the Biden administration are because they're running on the fumes of what we created years prior to their taking office. Let's look at the facts comparing crooked Joe Biden's economic catastrophe with the incredible success of a certain president named Donald J. Trump. Under Biden, real incomes have gone down by $7,400 per family.
Real wages were down throughout Biden's tenure. Okay? So real wages have been down throughout. I think they were barely up for a second, but real wages have been down throughout Biden's tenure. When you take into account inflation. So Trump is right.
Under President Trump, yearly income went up by more than $6,000. After revising Biden's fake job numbers by accounting for returning Trump workers who were already employed before the pandemic, just 2.1 million new jobs have been created during Biden's first 30 months in office, which is a disgrace. By contrast, during my first 30 months in office, we created 4.9 million new jobs, millions more than the experts predicted. Under Biden, gas prices.
So when you look, ladies and gentlemen, at what was actually created, Trump didn't take over when he didn't take over when state economies just opened back up. He's not gonna Biden. Biden goes ahead and takes credit for state economies opening up, but it has nothing to do with any of his policies. Okay, if anything, he ignored inflation. We'll get to that in a second. Okay.
Prices are up $4, $5, $6, and even to $7 a gallon. Inflation has reached the highest level in half a century, and mortgage rates are pushing a brutal 7% and going higher. Americans now have to pay $366,000 more in interest payments just to purchase a house. When I was your president, the 30-year mortgage rate reached a record low of 2.65%. Wouldn't you like to have that back again? And mortgage rates are pushing a brutal 7% and going higher. Americans now have to pay $366,000 more in interest payments just to purchase a house.
Think about that. Your mortgage is double. Nicholas! Thank you, Nicholas. Nicholas Orm, thank you so very, very much. In the UK, thank you, Nicholas. Greatly appreciated. SQ, Nicholas, Paul, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. And to the people who give super thanks on the uploads, thank you. I see you, and I'm going to thank you all tonight. Nicholas, thanks so much as always. Can you imagine? You could afford a house under Trump. You can't afford a house under Biden. This is not hyperbolic. This is true.
When I was your president, the 30-year mortgage rate reached a record low of 2.65%. Wouldn't you like to have that back again? Inflation was less than 1.9%, and we had gasoline down to $1.87 a gallon, and in some cases, even lower than that.
So he's not talking about big cities here, but the mortgage rates were down 3%. They're now 6 to 8%. Okay. Mortgage rates are like around 7% now, a little over 6% now, doubled. Your mortgage payments under Biden have doubled. And nobody talks. It's unbelievable too. Like, do liberals buy homes? Do they not see what's going on? It's unbelievable. Like, you would sacrifice double a mortgage simply not to hear Trump, not to read Trump's Twitter messages. I mean, it's really unbelievable. Thank you again, Nicholas.
Under Biden, the radical Democrat communists have piled over $10,000 of job-killing regulatory costs onto the backs of every single American household in less than 3 years. By contrast, under the Trump administration, we cut the cost of job-killing regulations by an amazing $11,000 per household. So look how that works when you compare them both. Under our leadership, 401k savings and retirement accounts were soaring. Under Biden, people have been set back for years to come. Biden even forced us into a recession, and then the media tried to change the definition of recession.
We literally had a recession. Kameshwari Kate! That's right. I was actually, that's hilarious too. In a book by Tom Hartman, The Crash of 2016. I was actually on his radio show. I believe we're talking about the same person. If you could believe this, I was on his radio show long time ago, and he said, "Don't go in on Clinton because she'll be the nominee." This is the left for you. Kameshwari Kate, thank you so very much. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the opposite of what Democrats always say happens. Kameshwari Kate, thank you so very, very, very much, as always.
To protect him. They're always trying to protect him, but the people are getting wise to it now. It's no surprise that under our leadership, approval of the economy was 3 times higher than it is under Biden. When I was president, 63% of Americans rated the economy as excellent or good. Today, that number is just 19%. But America's economic resurgence is coming soon, with tax cuts, regulatory cuts, tariffs, energy independence, and even energy dominance, which we will have. We will end Bidenomics and the disastrous Biden era, the most incompetent president we've ever had.
Biden is very incompetent, and the reason is because he was brought into the Oval Office to save the country from Trump. Now everybody wants Trump back. So, I mean, it's the definition of incompetence. I mean, if your goal was to make people forget about Trump, Democrats have only made Trump more popular, more desired. He's up in the polls for a reason. I mean, he's up in the polls for a reason. Okay? Was your pocketbook better under Trump than Biden? Are you making more money now with Biden, with inflation and interest rates? Let's go ahead and let's listen to, and this is, of course, Biden ignoring the inflation, right? This is before the Inflation Reduction Act. So they always pass legislation to address the fact that they thought inflation was temporary.
We've seen some price increases. Some folks have raised worries that this could be a sign of persistent inflation. But that's not our view. Our experts believe, and the data shows, that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary. We've seen some price increases. Some folks have raised worries that this could be a sign of persistent inflation. But that's not our view. Our experts believe, and the data shows, that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary.
So inflation was temporary according to the data. Don't you love when Democrats talk about the data, the numbers, and they just ignore the actual numbers? And they say, well, it was temporary, it was just temporary. Okay, it was not temporary. That's why interest rates are through the roof. That's why you had to pass the Inflation Reduction Act. So, I mean, pretty unbelievable. This is also Trump right here.
Built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and we are now doing it again. And I think we'll do even better the second time that we.
Now, this is before Biden took over. And Trump, his prediction will be on point, unfortunately.
Did the first time, unless somebody comes along and says, let's raise taxes on everybody. And they're raising taxes not only on corporations, they'll just go to another country and they'll do just fine. But they're raising taxes on people and middle income people, and they're losing jobs. So you can't allow that to happen. That will be all of this incredible job that we've done will go down like that. It will be a terrible, terrible sight. It might even be a 1929 situation, so you have a chance to have the greatest numbers in history. You're almost there. We're almost back to where we were from the standpoint of the stock market. Think of that. But you'll have a crash like you've never seen before.
Now, Democrats who don't really have a foothold on the economy. They don't really understand what's going on. So they're like, look at the market, look at the market. Unfortunately, they're just going to go ahead and have to, eat what yet again. Nicholas, the guy in office fobbing off the public. It's no wonder the train is in the lead. That's right. Exactly, Nicholas. Exactly. And Democrats they have 24/7 media coverage. So they have the media narrative 24/7. Nicholas, thank you so very much. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated, Nicholas. Greatly appreciated. It's so true. Well said. Well said. Nicholas, thank you again. Paul, thank you again. SQ, thank you so much. Kamashwari Kate. Mad Cow! Mad Cow Mark! Mad Cow Mark, thank you. To my viewers in Australia, Mad Cow Mark, thank you so, so much. Nicholas, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll do 6 more minutes because it's a little late my time, or a little late Eastern. I want to make sure that this live stream is counted for the 8th. So the cutoff is in 8 minutes or so about 6 minutes. Mad Cow Mark, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Let's continue.
Look at the facts, comparing crooked Joe Biden's economic catastrophe with the incredible success of a certain president named Donald J. Trump. Under Biden, real incomes have gone down by $7,400 per family. Under President Trump, yearly income went up by more than $6,000. After revising Biden's fake job numbers by accounting for returning Trump workers who were already employed before the pandemic, just 2.1 million new jobs have been created during Biden's first 30 months in office, which is a disgrace.
So he didn't create new jobs. He just took credit for the jobs of people coming back to work. Matt Kalmark, thank you. Nicholas, thank you. I mean, that's what's taken place. If you count what Biden has created, the job growth is paltry, nothing. I mean, it's something, but it's not anything to boast about.
By contrast, during my first 30 months in office, we created 4.9 million new jobs, millions more than the experts predicted. Under Biden, gas prices are up $4, $5, $6, and even to $7 a gallon. Inflation has reached the highest level in half a century, and mortgage rates are pushing a brutal 7% and going higher.
Ben, hello. Happy New Year to you. Thank you always for being a member. Ben, thank you. Yeah, I'm Matt Kalmark. Thank you again. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, Democrats are going to be wrong yet again. I don't know what the catalyst will be. God forbid. I just don't know what the economic catalyst will be. We're heading, unfortunately, towards a stock market crash. I say this as I beg for super chat all the time, but I've been telling you, I've told you that our current president, Democrats, will replace in some manner. I'm not Nostradamus. I haven't been right about everything, but I have a pretty good pulse of what's going on. And I mean, in 21, I said the market's going to tank. It tanked in 22. I'm telling everyone there's going to be a devastating market crash. Bitcoin crash too. I think Bitcoin's going to crash as well. The catalyst could be banks. It could be credit card debt. It could be derivatives in hedge funds. It could be a whole lot of things. Bank failures. We don't know. We just don't know what could cause all of this, ladies and gentlemen. But Trump is right, unfortunately, and I just want you all to be here every day. I will be back tomorrow at around 3 p.m. or so, 4 p.m. or so Eastern time, and then back again at around 10:30 tomorrow evening. God bless you all, Nicholas and Matt Kalmark and everyone here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Paul SQ, my goodness, the memberships. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Paul. Always starting off every live stream. God bless you all. Kameshwari Kate, thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Thank you so much. Wanted to do this live stream really quickly, a little over a half hour. I think it's important, and I wrote in the Federalist, Democrats are hurtling us towards a stock market crash. Hit subscribe.